This video was recorded on Sunday, October 11th, 2015, as part of the Cache Valley Community of Good Sunday service. It features Eric Hawley, Chief Information Officer at Utah State University, and Samantha Snyder, copywriter and blogger. Tanner Gilliland is conducting. We hope you enjoy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is this mic working? It's not? Hello? There you go. I'm just not working. Welcome to the Community of Good. This is our second official meeting, and I'm excited. We've got tons of people. We originally were meeting in the Unitarian Universalist Church, but we were afraid that our numbers were going to be too big, and that proved to be correct. Great to see so many people here. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is the Community of Good. It's a secular community dedicated to helping people from all areas of life join together in a sense of community to celebrate life, to learn a little bit, and just enjoy this association. So I'm really excited for our program today. We're going to start off with what we'd like to do is, community is really important, it's in our name, and so we want to be able to enjoy and celebrate some of the good things in our life, and even some of the sorrows and struggles that we all go through. So for about the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to invite anyone who wants to come up and just share a quick thought, something you're grateful for, or maybe something you're struggling with. Keep it brief, just a couple sentences, and so we can rejoice with you or sorrow with you. We'll do that, like I said, for 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how many people want to come up. After which, we're going to hear from Samantha Shelley, and she's going to be speaking on finding oneself. And so we're excited to hear from her. She came all the way from Great Britain to give this address. It's some 6 years in the making. and then afterward, the lovely Kata Carlisle and I will be performing a musical number. And then we're going to hear from our keynote speaker, Eric Hawley, who is going to be speaking. The title of his talk is called "Change Sucks, Ask Plato." So I'm excited to hear that, and then we'll have a group song and call it good. So to start off, if anyone would like to come up and just share one thing that you're either grateful for, happy about, or struggling with, come up. The time is yours for the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's not like fast and testimony meeting.
I came to the light after I turned 64 years old. And those 6 decades, God, you're lucky you're here today. That's all I can say. You're just lucky to be here today and enjoy the light.
No, the discomfort is actually very valuable because it's what's going to motivate people to get up. So whether or not you believe in God or any form of spirituality, just gratitude is a really important practice. And you can call it a spiritual practice or just a mental health practice. But as someone who's a psychologist, when I'm working with clients that are depressed or struggling to see value in life, just having them just have a gratitude journal where they write down things that they're grateful for can really make a huge difference in helping them start to see the life better. And so that's all we're doing right now is just those of you who are comfortable, just come up and share something you're grateful for. It can be the sun in the sky, it can be your mom, it can be something good that happened to you. But the idea is maybe one thing that we could practice is a ritual of gratitude. So I'll give mine. I'm really grateful that you guys are here. We had 55 people out last time. I haven't counted yet, but I think we're probably up to 75, 80, maybe 100. And this is just a crazy group of kids saying, hey, let's maybe get together on a Sunday and try and inspire each other and uplift each other a little bit. And I think this is an amazing outcome. We've got a great program for you today, and we're really excited about it. But I'm just really heartfelt grateful that you'd be here. So that's my moment of gratitude. Now some of you come up too. Thank you.
I'm grateful that I'm not the only one running from truth in Cache Valley, so I hope to make lots of friends through this group. I found it on Facebook last night after just saying, is there anybody like me here? So kudos for you guys being here.
I'm grateful that you guys would have the courage to put this together. I'm kind of a transplantee. I drove 2 hours to get here just to kind of see if you guys could pull this off and if it kept going. And so I'm grateful you're here. I'm from down in Heber City.
My name is Dave Christian. It's very gratifying to see all of you guys out here. Don't lean on this podium or you'll end up in the first aisle. I'm just warning you. It's gratifying to see all of you guys out here. This is very cool. I've had the chance to chat with John over last couple of months, hearing him plot about how to put together a community of this sort, and it's gratifying to see it's coming together. And I also happen to be the president of the board at the Unitarian Church. I grew up LDS, attended Unitarian for about 25 years. They finally persuaded me to join last spring and then punished me immediately by making me chair of the board. But we were happy to host you guys last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's very gratifying to see that you've already grown out of our facility. This is wonderful, although we'll miss you and your good presence there, but delightful to see you all out and excited to watch what happens here and be a part of it.
My name's Carolyn. I come here all summer to play with the opera company, and that's the first time I ever met any real gay people and any real non-members. But it was this setting that helped me be brave enough to open up to the possibility that there was something besides Mormonism. And so it's comforting and fitting to be here with all of you, and I'm just really excited.
Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name's Melanie. I'm here with several of my kids and my daughter's boyfriend, Trayson. So raise your hand if you belong to me. The lone kid in the back is mine too. Anyway, so my name's Melanie. Again, I'm from Providence. We left the church, I think, the LDS church like 3-4 years ago because we're big LGBT supporters in our family, and I wanted to raise my kids away from judgment, and I just don't want them to feel like they're judged in any element of their life. So I'm hoping this is a group that will give us support just to be them, be free. That's why we're here.
I was thinking down there, there's something missing, and there's no food here right now. So I hope that sometime in the future we can meet together and have fajitas. That's what I'm really grateful for. All right.
My name is Sylvan, born and raised in Richfield, living in Auckland, or wherever.
Hi, my name's Connor. I'm from here. I live here. I grew up in Mapleton, Utah.
We got a kitten a couple weeks ago. It's very cute, and I'm very grateful for our kitten.
I'm Kimberly. I live in Providence. I've been thinking a lot this last few weeks, and since we've got involved helping to plan Community of Good, it's just been really fun to make some new friends that get it, and I'm really grateful for my new friends, and hope to make a lot more.
My name is Anna Black. I'm from Orem, Utah, and I go to Utah State. And I'm grateful for an excuse to wear a dress and to meet new people, and this is fun. So thanks for being here.
My name is Winston, and I was born in Seattle, and I'm grateful for my cat named Ruby that likes to bite my hand off.
So good to hear from so many people, and in the weeks that will come, we'll look forward to hearing from more of you guys. And like John said, it's just a really good opportunity to be positive and kind of count our blessings together. So we're going to go ahead and hear from Samantha Snyder, who has the look of absolute terror on her face. Ready for this. Give it up for Sam.
Hello everybody, I'm Samantha, as Tana said, and my mouth has already dried out completely. So I'm going to start with a video for a few minutes that Connor's going to play. And this video kind of relates to what I want to talk about, and people like videos, so enjoy.
You live a long time, have many friends, many experiences. You lose all your money. Don't worry, you will get it all back again. And you will come to value, and then I'm going to teach you everything I know.
When somebody yes, looks a little like you and hands you a prophecy, you have to respond. Okay, it's your life right now. Just like a couple of years ago when you were completely concerned with being a perfect wife. Mom, when did you accept the life you have? Nothing. Always searching for something.
You are the one for me.
Just hold my organs.
Oh my God, Daddy, you are in so much trouble.
You know, people start resembling my dogs, and you look like Steve. I kind of look like David.
I need to change. Since I was 15, I either really got or breaking up with a guy. I have not given myself 2 weeks of breathers to deal with myself. You want to go away for a year? I used to have this appetite for my life, and it's just gone. I want to go someplace where I can marvel at something. And then I'm going to India, and I'm going to end the year in Bali. This is my no more left behind experiment.
If you could put all space in your mind, you have your way. And you know what the universe do? I can't. Everything else will take care of itself.
Have any of you seen that movie, just out of interest? Okay, cool. So that's my friend's favorite movie, my best friend Liz. She loves it. And I saw it and I thought it was kind of stupid because this woman has this failing marriage and, you know, she's just kind of struggling to feel happy in her life, and so she takes an unrealistically long and expensive vacation around the world. And so I saw that and thought, I just don't know if that would really solve anything. But, each to their own. I watch a lot of TED Talks, and I like watching ones about finding yourself and being true to who you are and kind of why we do what we do. And so what I'm going to talk about is just based around a couple of those. There's this one guy called Julian Baggini, and he's a philosopher. I think he might be a psychologist as well. And he gave a TED Talk called Why We Do What We Do. And so in it, he talks about how in society we kind of have this idea that, or a lot of people have the idea that there's like this core us, this part of us that is the essence of who we are. And ways that will manifest itself can be like horoscopes. Some people are really into horoscopes and they think that their star sign is going to affect a lot about their life, and that that's like a part of them. And he also talked about how a lot of us like doing those profile personality tests, like the Myers-Briggs test or the color test. And if you look at a psychology magazine, like a monthly one, there's usually always some new test for you to do to kind of find out who you are, like what type of personality you are, all in the name of figuring out like your true self. And so he called it the ego trick, which is to make us feel that inside of us there's something more unified than there really is. And basically he just went into how we are the sum of our experiences and our memories and our desires, the things we believe, and they're all connected. So the things we believe will influence the things we desire, for example. So we're like the sum of our parts. And it's not a huge shift, but from thinking, that we are this entity that has all these experiences and memories and things, to us being the sum of those things. So he talks about a watch and how we, the phrasing would be that a watch has a face, but really a watch just is a face and a strap. There isn't some innate, deep down watch part that makes it a watch. It's just the sum of all its parts. Similarly with water, there isn't this thing called water where two hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom attach itself to. Water just is hydrogen and oxygen. So Paul Broks, a clinical neuropsychologist, said there is no center in the brain where things do all come together. It's very cross whatever. I'm not a scientist. And so to some people that's kind of a worrying idea, there's no true sense of self. What does that mean? Are we... It kind of maybe it makes you feel more devalued in your mind, but he doesn't see it like that. Because if you go back to... So some people might think, oh, are we just an illusion then? If we're just the sum of all these parts, is there even a real me? And if you go back to the watch, a watch isn't an illusion just because it's the sum of its parts. It's still a watch, it still functions, it still serves purpose. So it's just something to think about. So, another TED Talk I watched was by this girl. She was really cool. She was a PhD psychology student, and she said that she became a PhD psychology student just on a whim because she felt like if she did that, she would find herself. And she quickly realized that was not the case, and it was a lot of hard work. But we kind of just have this idea that everyone needs to find themselves, and I think definitely in young people that's kind of a glamorized idea that we need to go out there and find it. A lot of people will say, oh, they want to go off and travel, and eat, pray, love, to kind of find who they are. But in this TED Talk I watched, she talked about how if you always kind of feel like there's this enlightened self waiting to be discovered, or this real self that's you, that you're thinking you need to find, it kind of makes the present moment a placeholder, rather than you living in the present moment and making the most of it, and helping people and laughing a lot and doing the things you enjoy. And she said that I'm going to drink some water. So she said that her biggest fear was getting to the end of her life and realizing that she wasn't awake for any of it because she had just been so focused on what she should be doing, I guess, or like searching for who she's supposed to be rather than who she right now feels that she is. And so, again, this PhD student said she doesn't think there's any such thing as finding yourself. It's kind of a guise, it's a myth. And she said believing it is doing us a disservice because it inherently implies that we are lost. And that can be troublesome. So going back to the other guy, Julian, he talks about how it's a liberating idea to realize that we're more of a process and that we are fully capable of changing ourselves and becoming the people that we want to be. We aren't, there obviously are things that we probably realistically couldn't become, but, in terms of maybe like our goodness and, I'll say goodness, there's not really a limit to that, we can be as good as we want. And I have a quote from Buddha who said, "Well makers lead the water, fletchers bend the arrow, carpenters bend a log of wood, wise people fashion themselves." So I don't want to make this too much about anything LDS, but I know a lot of people here have left the LDS faith, and I know that it can be really tough wondering kind of who you're going to be now and wondering what your identity is now that you've abandoned your, these beliefs, which was such a big part of you, because beliefs are huge in determining a lot of things about us. And I just kind of have a personal story about this. So that was something I really worried about when I was going through like a faith transition, and which we all know can be very painful, very scary. And I always wondered what kind of person I would be if I left the church, because I felt like the church really helped me to remember to be good to people and things like that, like really positive things that I think are there in the church and I really admire. And so this one day when I had kind of realized in my mind, like I just don't have this set of beliefs anymore, it was really crushing, it was really scary, because I tried so long to have them. And I just went to Walmart and I saw this homeless man, and so I stopped my car and I was like, "Hey, do you want me to get you any food or anything?" And he said that someone had already given him food, so he wasn't hungry. And I said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And he said that his shoes had holes in them, and so his feet would get wet every day if it rained. So I just went and bought him like a cheap pair of Walmart shoes, and he was so grateful and kind, and then we chatted for like 15 minutes. And that was a real light in that day for me, because it was definitely the boost I needed. But it kind of taught me that as much as I'd been worrying, like who will I be now, what will I care about, like will I still be a good person, it made me realize that our experiences make us who we are, and you don't have to lose your belief system and become a different person. I mean, all those good things can still be there, all those values can still be important to you. I've heard like really, really awesome LDS people say, without the church I would just be nothing, like I wouldn't be a good person or whatever. And I kind of, it makes me sad hearing that, because I think, no, you're an amazing person, with or without the church. And I don't really like the idea of people sort of devaluing their goodness, because I think it's a part of them, and it should stay a part of them if it was ever genuine. And so that's why I'm glad I had that experience with a homeless man on that day in particular. So, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that your true self is not this mystery that you have to go out and find. I think it's who you already are, and if you don't feel like you are who you want to be, then you can change it. And yeah, I think that's a liberating thought, and I think it's exciting. I had some more things that I skipped, but I'm going to end there, so thank you.
Okay, we want to make this an interactive experience. It's not just, someone coming up and talking to you and then everyone just listening and then leaving without having participated at all. So for the next 5 minutes, we'd like to open it up, and if you have a comment, something you thought of while Samantha was speaking, and you thought this would be kind of an interesting thing to share, or maybe a question for the group, or maybe you disagreed with something she said, we'd like to open it up. So if you have some thoughts you want to add to make this more of a discussion, a participatory experience, come up and share your thoughts real quick. We'll do this for about 5 minutes.
Hi, my name's Starla. I'm from Ogden. I lived in Florida with John's wife Margie and her parents, Bill and Elaine, so that's a fun way to have a connection. I left the church long ago, before a lot of you were born, before the internet, before I had to kind of read books and do it on my own. But that was one of my first aha moments is, oh my gosh, I don't have to listen to old men from the pulpit tell me how to live, because I know how right here, and it's great, and I'm a wonderful person, and I know how to live because that's who I am. And so enjoyed your talk a lot, and that was one of my big aha moments is, gosh, I have it all here. I don't have to have anybody tell me how to live my life. Thanks.
So I relate to the talk because I've gone through a similar phase in my life, thinking, am I a different person if I choose to believe differently? Where do I root myself in my life? And really, I think it goes back to my shirt. I wear my shirt that says, I am Zachary. I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, I'm all that. It's the thing that I stick to. I've been born with my name. My parents gave it to me, and just always been the same person, always Zachary my whole life. And so that's how I'm going to die too. And it's going to be great.
Hi, my name's Grant. I'm from the Valley. But Sam's talk just reminded me of the concept that, like, nobody really exists on purpose. Like, we're just here, we're thrown into the world, and then before too long, we'll just, like, go and be nothing again. And all that space in between is kind of like whatever we want it to be. So, like, there is no real, like, finding yourself as if there's a self for you to find. It doesn't exist. You create yourself. Yeah.
Do we have to go up to the microphone? Yes. It's nice just because we're recording this.
So I'm Dan, and something that came to mind, Samantha, you did a great job wherever you are. I don't see you. There you are. One thing that came to mind when Samantha was talking was kind of, yeah, you shouldn't find yourself. You should kind of live in the moment and enjoy things. And I don't know if any other people are like this. Raise your hand if you're kind of like a goal-oriented, like you have to have a list. Is anybody else like that? I can't really relax until my list is completely gone, right? And it's terrible. I hate that about myself. But that's something that I kind of have to struggle with, is what Samantha said, is kind of reining back that, okay, well, as soon as I finish these things on my list, I'll be a happy person. I always have to fight myself to try to kind of become a little bit more Ferris Bueller-ish and like calm it down and, hey, let's slow down and enjoy the roses. So while I like that idea of, hey, let's slow it down, because that's where I need to go, like that's how I have to move as a person. But I think that there's a balance to strike and try to achieve, well, we don't need to be super goal-oriented, but we also don't need to just sit around and bask in our awesomeness all the time. And so that's where I always am struggling. So Samantha, thanks for helping remind myself I need to kind of calm down a little bit and enjoy life. Sometimes I lie to myself if I say, well, like for instance, I have a lie right now in my head where once I finish this project, I'm finishing a basement. Once I have that done, I'll be like a happy, completed person. It's the stupidest thing ever, but it's in my head. And so, that's something that I always have to fight for. And I think it's good to kind of identify those problems, those lies that we tell each other, or ourselves, I should say. Thanks.
Along those same lines of enjoying the day, seizing the day, my son wrote a song called Frame the Day. And I thought it was pretty cool because it just talks about, doing something every day that's frameable. And that's kind of what Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff is all about. And not doing fake stuff, but really doing things every day to make you happy. And I think that's important. Don't wait for something. Just be happy in the day. Because we really don't know if we're going to be around tomorrow. We can't plan that far ahead. Just seize the day.
Hi everybody, my name's Jeff. I'm from here in the Valley. And just going back on, I think it was what Daniel said, I really liked what he said. I was talking to one of my theist friends last weekend, and I was kind of talking about how sort of a Taoist perspective, she was kind of struggling with not trying to choose, like I need to find out what God is, and that needs to be my purpose. And once I figure out what God is, then I'll be okay. And I just kind of said to her, maybe you don't, maybe you can just figure out what you want to do and you can just do that. And it kind of left her in a really weird place because she's like, well, if there's no purpose, then what's the point of doing anything? And I think just going back to what he said, I feel like there's this sort of misunderstanding that just because you say, oh, there's no purpose and I don't know who I am or what I am supposed to be means you just sit there and do nothing. It doesn't have to be like that. You can recognize that maybe there is or maybe there isn't some ultimate purpose, but that doesn't mean you just have to sit there and do nothing. You just kind of remove the attachment to the needing to do things, So I don't know if that's just what I thought. So thanks for the talk and for the good discussion.
All right, now we're going to have a musical number really quick. Kata Carla, why don't you come on up? We'll be singing Stand By Me, which maybe has some romantic overtones, but it has a good message overall and sense of building community and standing by each other.
Also, this song does have romantic overtones, but I didn't get into the little good news music thing. I just wanted to say my good news is that my mom came to visit me this weekend. And she's sitting in the front row, so I can embarrass her, but I guess the song kind of, even though it's romantic, kind of reminds me of my mom. I hope I don't get emotional when I sing it, but the song is called Stand By Me. My mom's always been really my best friend, so gosh, I'm too good to go. Should have said all that after. Okay.
about change and why it sucks for us and Play-Doh. And hopefully there's an up note there. Give it up for Eric Hawley.
All right, let's see if technology works. Okay, so if you're in technology and you use technology, it's like the curse. It's going to break. So I've been waiting. Now, do I talk loud enough without the microphone, or do you want me to use the mic? Is that good? I'm loud. All right. Oh, we're recording. Oh, great. Since we're recording, I have to be really careful with what I say. So this is a trouble. This microphone is trouble because I'm coordinated in only one hand. I can't run both at the same time. This is why I played trumpet in high school. Because this takes one, you know. Do I want to stand? No way. Because I also have the other problem, which is I have to walk a lot. Which is why I'm glad cordless phones were created. So I'm going to try to run the presentation on the left and talk on the right. So I've been waiting for the longest time to use John's favorite superlative. I am super excited to be here today. Like, seriously. So, I love this slide up here because you've got this bright yellow sign that says change ahead. But behind it is this dark cloud, turbulent storms. Now, I stopped believing the world was going to end next week like years ago. It's actually totally getting better. And it's going to get better because of us. But that does not mean that change is easy. So perhaps a better title for our session today is Change Sucks. First of all, let me apologize for using that word. To those of you who come from a certain generation, that has some overtones that are not professional. My mother would be so embarrassed that I'm using it on a slide as big as like 5 of me in front of all of you. So, you know. Oh, no. So change is difficult. That's better. Sorry, no. So anyway, change sucks, and change has always sucked. Ask Plato. That's Plato. Let's cast our minds back to the invention of writing way long ago. This is what Plato wrote about that invention. This discovery of yours will create, writing, will create forgetfulness in the minds of those who learn to use it. You offer your students the appearances of wisdom, not true wisdom. They'll be hearers of many things and will learn nothing. They will appear to be omniscient and will generally know squat. I'm paraphrasing. I mean, writing threatened Plato because, I mean, if we can write it down, we don't have to use our brains. I mean, hello, Internet. I mean, he struggled with this change. Let's fast forward a little bit in history to the creation of the printing press. The world has gone along perfectly well for 6,000 years without printing and has no need to change now. Now remember, these are smart people I'm quoting here. These were not known as the idiots of their age. Oh, man. Now, printed books will never be the equivalent of handwritten codices. The simple reason is that copying by hand involves more diligence and industry. We're moving forward, getting closer to the present time. We're dealing with the railroad, right? Major change agent. Here's a letter that was written to the President of the United States, President Andrew Jackson. The canal system of this country is being threatened by the spread of a new form of transportation known as, and I quote, railroads. The federal government must preserve the canals for the following reasons. One, the canals are surrounded by railroads. Serious unemployment will result. Captains, coast drivers, hostages, repair, and lockdown will be left without means of livelihood. Not to mention the numerous farmers now employed growing hay for horses. Boat builders would suffer, two-line-driven harvest engines would be left destitute. Jobs, the economy, and canal roads are absolutely essential to the defense of the United States. In the event of the expected trouble with England, the Erie Canal would be the only means by which we could ever move the supplies so far, waging modern war. For the above-mentioned reasons, the government should create an Interstate Commerce Commission. Oh yes, committee. To protect the American people from the evils of railroad and to preserve the canal for posterity. Wow, the only thing we're missing here is a threat to women and children. No, it's there too. As may be well known, Mr. President, railroad carriages are pulled at an enormous speed of 15 miles per hour by engines, which, in addition to endangering life and limb of passengers, roar and snort their way to the countryside, setting fire to crops, scaring livestock, and frightening women and children. The Almighty certainly never intended that people should travel at such breakneck speed. Even through guilty. Who wrote this? Future president. I mean, gosh, really? Whole flame cow. They were just trying to help. But help who? And using what? They were using FUD. You ever heard of that one? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Want to prevent change? Try using fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Use your feelings of absolute certainty, absolute confidence to cast fear, uncertainty, and doubt on any other option. It's a powerful tool. It's critical. A conclusion, not skeptical, which is a process. Fear and uncertainty, that's a tempting, manipulative tool. And you think it can get you what you want. How many of those things did it stop? You end up with railroads and pencils. It's a hell of an analogy. It's like putting an arachnophobic person in a dark room and then whispering, "This is such a dark room. There's no telling how many spiders there are in here." And then just before running out and locking the door behind you, you scream, "For all the money in your wallet, I can sell you some bug spray." It leverages short-term emotion for quick decision-making and quick response. Certainty on one hand, leveraging fear and uncertainty on the other. Fear and uncertainty, that is manipulative and unethical. It amplifies distortions. It is anti-data. It is anti-analysis. Remember the statement, the Erie Canal will be the only means by which we could ever move the supplies for national defense. Really, the only means. There are no other options. In what ways might the railroad actually help with that? For uncertainty, that is designed to help rational inquiry into alternatives. It's often used without evidence by the certain. How do people respond to it and ethical long term? That's how I like to respond to it. Frustration. Again, change is difficult. A guy by the name of Dan Heath has done an incredible amount of research into this question. Something that holds us back from change are our traditions. I'm not saying traditions are bad, but by definition, traditions are the anti-change. Recognize that? I love that film, right? So, I will give this presentation sometimes to IT people. So I work with IT people. You know what IT people are? They're like techies. Now techies are supposed to be creative change, right? Because you get a new iPhone every year. Technology changes a lot, but change is hard. Change is human. In IT security, we deal with change a lot. And so I'll often rephrase this song for our security people in IT. You know, an IT security person on the roof sounds crazy, you know? In our little village of IT, you might say every one of us is a security person on the roof. You know, paranoid people. Trying to scratch out a simple, pleasant tune without breaking our neck. It isn't easy, you may ask. Why do we stay up there if it's so dangerous? We stay because it's our home. And how do we keep our balance? That I can tell you in one word. Tradition! 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 Yeah! You got it. Oh yeah. It makes it. We need to watch this movie for like a community good activity because it's that totally awesome. Because of our traditions, we've kept our balance for many, many years in higher education security. We have traditions for everything. How to browse, how not to browse, how many special characters require in our passwords. For instance, we always keep our passwords long. We always change them every 90 days. This shows our constant devotion to best practice. You may ask, how did this tradition start? I'll tell you. I don't know. But it's a tradition. And because of our traditions, everyone knows who they are and what IT security expects them to do. Yeah, a common security, IT security, I call it IT security just because it makes a security person feel good, it doesn't mean much. If you've been at Utah State University, you may recognize this. You know passwords, right? These are the rules for passwords at Utah State University. Must be 860 characters, start with alpha character, these 3 non-alphabet characters, numbers cannot be repeating or sequence, cannot contain any user account, any number or common words used by hackers, cannot be the last 5 passwords used on the system, and cannot be a password used within the last 24 months. How does that make you feel? I mean, is this motivating? Are people going to comply? Does this really make us more secure, or does it just in fact make us more angry? It's a question I'm asking my teams to ponder. Change is made difficult because we often make bad decisions. Why do we make bad decisions? There's been a lot of research on this. May I present to you the 4 horsemen of crappy decision making. Psychologists in the room. Narrow framing, confirmation bias, short-term emotion, and overconfidence. By narrow framing, I mean we often, when presented with a problem, narrow our options to 1 or 2 mutually exclusive options. We've researched why teenagers suck at decisions. If you're a teenager, my apologies. Hi, kids. Thanks for coming. Jacob, Brenda, how are you? So, it's this concept of narrow framing. When presented with something to do, I don't know, should we do this tonight or not? It's, should we do this tonight, and this could be any number of, but they have one thing in mind. Should we do this tonight or not? 2 mutually exclusive options. As the brain matures, it becomes easier to expand that. More options, not black and white, not on and off, like a light switch. We do it to others and we do it to ourselves. Maybe it's not just this or this. Maybe this isn't the only option. Maybe they aren't mutually exclusive. Maybe there are 15 other ideas we haven't talked about and should consider to achieve our objectives. It's not just I'm bored. Is it going to be Reddit or Facebook? There's more out there. So speaking of confirmation bias, I was sitting in a conference, this was last Tuesday, and I'm just listening to the professor, and I was thinking about this presentation, and I saw this slide come up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a slide about confirmation bias. This is so interesting, it's so right. And I caught myself, I'm like, what? Why did I pick this out of the 80 slides the guy showed in that presentation? I just got confirmation bias by a slide about confirmation bias. When you're thinking about something, that's what you move in on, right? And it colors all of the other options you see, and it starts narrowing those options. And so this was one of the few slides I actually took a picture of. Strangely enough. Confirmation bias is probably still is a problem in business because even the most sophisticated people get it wrong. People go out and they're collecting data, not knowing they're cooking their own books. Well, that's filled in by a whole lot of other areas of logic. We can build a lot of these in loop fallacy. There's all these crappy little fallacies out there. Also, the kids are using it. It's good. If you don't agree that a build forces a great logical fallacy, I'll kick your butt. Most people think that this fallacy is the best. Clearly it is. You know who else preferred that particular logical fallacy? What? Redirection of attention away from an alternative point of view by injecting something obviously bad yet unrelated? This is Godwin's law, by the way. Godwin's law states, as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches 1. It's an actual law. Of course, whether we did or not, we used that field definition for centuries and then fine. How can it possibly be wrong? Arguing it ad nauseum is the best logical fallacy. You don't like sit with self-arguments, you'll be part of the class, drop out of school, commit crimes, go to prison, and then die. This is my favorite. Circular reasoning works because circular reasoning works. Oh my gosh, hallelujah! Why is this a good thing to do to improve my life? Because this life book says so. Why does the book say so? Because it's a good thing to do to improve your life. You get to this point and you start making decisions with short-term emotion. And you be confident as you narrow it with confirmation bias that this is the way. Awareness is not enough. Approach matters. I mean, I know those 4 things, and I know that the more of those you use, the greater the probability that you're going to make a crappy decision goes up exponentially. I know that. But I still make crappy decisions, like all the time. This is a slide from a website. So my wife, who's not here, so I can talk about this, and it's being recorded. Yeah. So she got a speeding ticket. Now, when you get a speeding ticket, your insurance rates go up. I'm kind of cheap. But I found out when your insurance rates go up, you can talk to your insurance company. They'll send you this little device that you can plug into your car. And this little device will track everything you do in your car. And if you drive well, they will forgive your ticket. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm narrowing my choices. This is the only best way. I can put this in my wife's car, and it will monitor all of our driving, and we won't have, our insurance rate won't go up. This is a win-win scenario. This is going to be awesome. So I ordered the device, and I put it in the car, and I grabbed my wife and say, so, you got a ticket, right? I have this device that the insurance company gave us, and we're going to stick it in the car, and it's going to watch what you do, and if you drive better, I'm still in it, by the way. I mean, the story ends up better than it's going. Then our insurance rates will not increase. So she goes out on the first drive with this device. Now this device reports in real time what's happening with the car, so I'm like a data tech geek. So I log into this website to see what's happening on the first drive. Oh, I swiped the wrong direction. And I start seeing things. The website was showing where you drove and all of the events that happened. Acceleration, speeding. At 8:14:15 and precisely 8:46 a.m., you accelerated to 75.8 for just a second from the speed limit. You accelerated at 4:54 p.m. from 0 to 7 miles an hour in 1 second. Holy cow, left foot. So I'm like, this data is awesome. As soon as my wife gets back, what do you think I did? I'm like, honey, you really do have a left foot. Come here. Let me show you. Here, you accelerate a little too fast. Here, you turn a little bit, too hard to the left. And that indicator at the time was like pegged over to the red. How do you think she's feeling right now? Yeah, like divorce papers. I mean, what are the chances that this is going to be changed for good? Based on my approach, this is not good. My approach was poor. She writes a big sign, she sticks it on the radio, and says, okay, accelerate more slowly. I can't wait till this thing's out of the car. I'm done with this. I mean, is there a better way we could have handled this? I mean, as opposed to change and putting my objectives against hers. Yeah, what's a better way to deal with this? Yeah, take the ticket and leave her alone, right? Yeah, never again. Holy cow! But say we want to create change, get other people to change. I mean, one is common objective. I've got 2 teenagers. What if we don't use this to monitor my life, but think of a common goal that we can work on together to get the ticket discount? Let's monitor the kids. Well, now I've got to deal with their. I mean, no, right? How do you feel, right? Thumbs up. I know. There are a million ways that we could have used this for good instead of evil. Approach matters. Every bit. Don't want to facilitate change that sticks? Try to use fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I had certainty that I wanted the discount, but I was a totally awesome driver. And so I used fear, uncertainty, and doubting my wife's driving skills to try to get her to change. Did it work? No. She wasn't the problem. I was. But say we want to facilitate change. We got to think about it. Some more. Let's try opposite day. The opposite of the 4 horsemen. Oh, I'm gonna lose the thing. You're awesome. Let's try opposite day. The opposite of the 4 horsemen of sucky decisions. I will call it the 4 counteracting archangels of awesome decision making. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Are widen your options. Reality test your assumptions. Attain some distance before making any decisions. And instead of overconfidence, prepare to be wrong. And in the approach, avoid the F-bomb. By F, I mean fear. Don't use it to get your way. Don't generalizations. Maintain options and choice. You might be wrong. Get data. Talk about reality. but don't get data and then use that data to create fear. It's not going to create change. Replace general fear with specific positive benefit. You have a choice. Good cop, bad cop. Good cop offers you a glass of water, bad cop takes you to the military chamber. So on the security side, remember those horrible passwords, those horrible rules? Well, it turns out that password complexity, using all those special characters, and I know what you do. If there's an A, you stick an @ sign in there. Really? If there's an I, you're going to use a 1 or an exclamation mark. I mean, it's not hard to figure out what you're going to do. Password complexity, turns out, isn't as important as password length. As the length increases in your password, the time to crack it goes up exponentially. Complexity is so much less important for security than length. Size matters. So on passwords, what if we offer people options? If you have a crappy short password, we're going to make you use all the complexities, uppercase, lowercase numbers, special symbols. But if you make it long, all lowercase will be just fine. No special symbols, because length beats complexity. We provide a choice to provide a better benefit based on the data. But how if I can't put a password that long? Easy, select 4 random words, orange and Pichu. 21 characters, including the spaces. Much easier to remember than shift all those characters, special characters and numbers. We got to win. Won't tell that story. It's a good one now. Now, did that help? No. I don't know. Okay, really quickly. On the screen, you see before you pixels that represent all 65,535 IP addresses at Utah State University. Every device that connects to the internet has one of these, maybe 3. We track them at Utah State University. If you think you're anonymous, we know what you do. There are precisely 65,535 of these. When you're on our campus, you get one. When data is sent to it, these lights flash on our screen. We can see when China appears to try to scan our network. Because they'll start to pop that frame card and just check all 65,535 of them until they find a hole and then attack and compromise. So we can just see these scans move from top to bottom across these screens. Now, when we're trying to help people, patch their Windows device, we can say, patch your Windows device or I'm disconnected from the network. How effective is that? It isn't. Just a hint. So we invited the president and the executive committee, the deans up, and we showed them this scanner. Now, these attacks from China happen all the time. We will get a few 100,000 of these a day. So you don't have to wait long for these to happen. So you start seeing these scrolling down. Now, at the same time, we know the IP address of the telephone in the dean's pocket. We know exactly what dot on the screen it is. And it's in his pocket. We can see the scan getting closer and closer and closer. We point out that little green dot right there. That's your phone. See that? That's China. It's getting closer, 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 closer. Bam! Did you feel that? That was China in your pants. This is uncomfortable. This happens to every device that is in your pocket right now. It is happening as we speak. But there are ways to protect yourself. Common mutual benefit. We are all in this together. There are certain things we can do to make sure we sustain these attacks that happen many times a second and are happening right now as I put this phone up over my head. Then let's talk about things we can do, because now we're both invested. It got a little personal. Moving along. Right or options. Sometimes take a step back, we're sometimes too close to the problem. The Kremer Prize was was offered in 1959. It was a 50,000 sterling prize offered to the first person who could achieve human-powered flight. This is flying without a motor. 50,000 sterling, offered in 1959. That prize stood unconquered for 18 years until 1977. A guy named Paul McCready won the prize in this, the Gossamer Condor. 2 years later, he won the next prize by flying across the English Channel in a similar device. During those 18 years, universities, engineers, businesses throwing millions of dollars at it could not solve the problem for 18 years. This was one guy in his garage. What? Interviewed later about how did you pull that off when people were throwing millions of dollars at this for 18 years? He said, my secret weapon was a complete lack of experience. Complete lack of experience in aircraft and structural design, while at the same time having familiarity with hang gliders and fragile model airplanes. Our competitors also knew about hang gliders, and they were thwarted by knowing so much about standard techniques, the way things are, tradition. I soon found that the dominant factor in the airline's work is the build of patterns, paradigms that enable us to simplify the assimilation of complex inputs. But the same patterning can be a weakness as well as a strength. The patterning makes it hard for a new idea to get fair treatment. One brief final thought, getting people to change. You've seen this quote. This is a quote attributed to Gandhi. It's not exactly what he said, but you've seen it, right? You want to get people to change? Change yourself. You change you see in the world. That's no fun. We want to get somebody else to change. So here's the trick. These are labels placed above restrooms in bathrooms, largely in Europe, directed to male members of the species. They are signs encouraging them to please aim, because these bathrooms are getting disgusting. Now, if you have boys, so there's been research done on this. Yeah, researchers. There have been research done. You know how effective these stickers are above the toilet? They aren't. So if I stuck these stickers above the toilet in my house, look how happy the pig is. What an awesome game! And they get the bounce off and just like that. This gives me ideas. This does not scientifically increase the cleanliness of men's restrooms. Let's try a different approach. Oh, come on. So these are urinals. That right there is a little plastic soccer ball and a net. How could you possibly resist aiming? That's a little fly stenciled in the porcelain. How effective is this? Well, as long as the ball stays in play, much more effective than the previous approach. If you want to get people to change, really, this or this? When looking at the world, what are your options in your view? Reality test your assumptions. Is it really working to get your data? Attain some distance before deciding. Prepare to be wrong and allow others the same privilege. Motivate to experiment and learn for themselves the benefits, instead of dictate and threaten or punish. Now, it's hard to make these changes all at once in your life. So, how do you eat an elephant? It's a cliche. Y'all know it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I prefer this. If you're going to try cross-country skiing, start with a small country. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna let's give a round of applause one more time for our speakers today. Thank you all for coming out today. This has been really fun. We're going to close with a song, and everyone's invited to sing. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's a popular song that most people know called "Lean on Me," and Kate's going to help me sing this one.
Give it up for John.
All right. I just want to one more time thank Samantha and Eric and Kata and Tanner and Connor in the back and Kimberly and everyone who's helped make today possible. Please give them a round of applause. So this is an interesting thing that we're trying today. So 2 weeks ago we met at the Unitarian building. We're very grateful that they let us meet there, and we met capacity on our very first meeting. So we love the UU folks. We want to collaborate with them, but we said, dang, if we just have 10 or 15 more people, we won't be able to really meet capacity. So we went ahead and scheduled this room. Tanner paid $130 out of his own pocket to reserve this facility. So thank you, Tanner. So we, it'd be nice if Tanner doesn't get stuck with that bill. If any of you have $5 or $10 to give to Tanner, he won't take more than 130. But we could use help. We're going to need help to be able to do this if we want to keep doing it. So if any of you have something you can share with Tanner to help, and then those of us who care will have to make up the difference if we don't reach 130. So, but we picked this building to have a little bit more, and strangely enough, we're almost at capacity today. Like we're over 110 people, I think, when we counted, and it's only our second time. So, so that's kind of exciting, but it's, it leaves us wondering kind of what we do in the future. So there's no patriarchy here. There's no formal organizational structure. This is literally just a Facebook page with some people who wanted to try and do something cool. What this is really about kind of at the core is just a belief, and I talked about this a little bit 2 weeks ago. If you look across millennia, churches have been the way that people form community and sing and share in a feeling of togetherness and inspire and uplift each other and maybe even serve each other. And so but the question is, should you have to assent to a certain set of religious beliefs or, join a certain organization that's got a certain set of beliefs or leadership to be able to participate in the goodness of those types of things? And so the question we're sort of asking here is something that many people across the world are asking, is can communities be formed that enjoy the benefits of community, of inspirational talks, of educational talks, of a sense of well-being and maybe even a chance to serve and to have fun? Can these types of groups be created without the need for dogma or patriarchy or those types of rules? And there are many organizations that are trying this. There's a group called Oasis that's in Houston and Kansas City. They're holding sort of secular Sunday services across the country. The Sunday Assembly is doing this out of the UK, and we're trying it here. And the question is, the answer to the question is, we don't know if this is possible, right? We don't know. I can already tell you that it's very easy for people to try their best, but to have feelings get hurt. It's very possible for people to have initial excitement, but then kind of lose steam and energy. It's very possible for people to an initial group to start making the decisions to make this happen, but then they get burned out and frustrated and just say, oh, it's not worth it. And then these things sort of can easily just fizzle. So this is an experiment, and it may totally bomb or it may really take off. And I think a lot of that depends on us. Whether, people in this audience are willing to be a part of making this happen. That can be as small as just making sure that Tanner doesn't get stuck with the bill for today. But it could also take the form of other things. People being willing to prepare great talks like Eric and Samantha did. It doesn't take too long necessarily to create something really inspirational. They don't have to be as visually stimulating as Eric's, or even as intellectually. Sometimes just speaking from the heart and sharing a story or some insight can really move and inspire people. So we need people who are willing to give talks. We need people like Kata who can step up and prepare musical numbers or be in charge of the music for a service. We would love to have people who are willing to conduct so that it's not always the same people conducting. We need some people who are willing to organize these types of events and say, yeah, I'll take 4 Sundays from now, I'll be in charge, and I'll pick a couple speakers and make sure there's a musical number and make sure I arrive ahead of time. That's kind of what all that sort of needs to make something like this happen. We need people to join the Facebook group if you haven't already. It's Sunday Assembly Cache Valley. Is that what it's called? Cache Valley? Sorry. Community of Good Cache Valley, right? So you can join that Facebook group if you haven't already. People can volunteer to do any number of things from organizing services to conducting to being in charge of the music to speaking. We hope to have a service project once a month. Did we have one yesterday? Did that end up happening? Yeah. Anybody want to report on it really quick? What happened? Was it worth reporting on? Stand up and talk so people can hear you.
There was just a girl who messaged our group asking for help. She's got a chronic illness, and she moved into an apartment while it was dirty and she had all boxes, and she just needed more organizing. And so a few of us showed up, and we totally transformed her apartment in less than 2 hours. So, yeah.
Stand up if you went to that service project. I'm just curious who was able to go. Is it Kimberly? Mike?
There were only 4.
There were 4. Stand up. Stand up.
Girls, stand up. These girls wash dishes for 2 hours.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. So we plan to have a service project once a month, and then like a fun kind of potluck or community activity where we go to someone's backyard and have a bonfire and make pizza and just have fun. Maybe we can do road shows, or maybe we can do talent shows or whatever. Karaoke, who knows? So you're gone if we do that. Okay. So, what's that? Okay, no snowstorm. All right. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see whether this takes off. In 2 weeks, we plan to have another one of these, and we just want to put out a call for people to go to the Facebook group, join in, and maybe someone can volunteer to help. And I think that if we get a group of people willing to help, to volunteer and help make this happen, these will continue. If people just are free riders and don't help out, or people just don't really like this, which is totally fine, or if you don't believe in the vision of this and you think it's not possible, that's totally fine. Chances are it'll probably fizzle. And that's okay too. Maybe this isn't really needed, right? Maybe we're all good in our lives and we don't need to get together and have this type of community. That's possible. And I just think we'll answer that question depending on what we do. So I just want to say thank you for coming again. I want to thank Tanner for conducting and everyone who helped out. Connor was really helpful in doing the AV today. And again, Samantha and Eric. And again, thanks to Kata for doing the music. Appreciate it, Kata. And what we'd like to do is just encourage people to stay after a bit and talk. You can talk to us. You can get to know each other. If you have ideas, if you're interested in participating, let's talk about it. And we can plan a really cool thing in 2 weeks. But if nothing happens other than we just had a couple really cool events, that'll be really fun. And I will have really enjoyed being a part of it. And who knows, maybe we'll do more. So thank you again for coming, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks. We'll plan on doing it here because we're not totally at capacity. That's assuming that we get enough money to pay for the place, because we don't want to get stuck with the bill. We'll probably have to pick a treasurer who can be in charge of taking the money and the donations in and then accounting for them. We'll have 100% transparency on what's given and how it's spent. But if we could find a way to have us each donate, I mean, literally, if each of us give $2 a month, we'll pay for this well over what's needed. So we'll have to set up an infrastructure for how to pay for this and make it easy. But thanks for coming again. Let's mix and talk and get to know each other better if you want afterwards. And then maybe we'll see you in 2 weeks. Does that sound all right? Please pay Tanner in the back if you've got a couple bucks or $5 or whatever. But thanks again for coming.